Why WoW has become toxic. Mad season hype. Alright, let's watch this. How often do you trim your beard? Yeah, we'll call this a beard. Like every couple days, 2-3 days maybe.
When discussing toxic communities, there are a handful of games out there that immediately come to mind. League of Legends is almost universally recognized for its...
Bro, any game with a rated game mode is going to be toxic on the internet. People are anonymous. There's imaginary rating at stake. Well, it's not imaginary, but it's pixelated points is what it is. It's, you know, if people are losing, they're going to get mad, period. Doesn't matter if it's rated League, rated Counter-Strike, rated Mythic Pluses, rated arenas, anything with a rating associated, and you have random teammates that you queue into and queue with, it's going to get toxic. Look at Solo Shuffle. Look at Blitz already. Like, that's just how the game works, right? I actually watched a video from Supatees, and he said the best thing you can do in rated game modes is disable the chat function altogether. Just disable the chat so that you just don't even listen to like anything. You just focus on your gameplay, and that's it. Kind of a deal.
Intense and sometimes hostile player base.
Pops, thanks for that tier 1, man.
The competition is fierce and the stakes feel high, leading to interactions that are often less than friendly. Call of Duty, another giant in the gaming world, is known for its cutthroat nature. It's a game where players are often pitted against one another in highly competitive environments, and this too can lead to toxicity. And Counter-Strike, with its emphasis on precision and skill, has a community that can be quite unforgiving to newcomers or those perceived as less skilled. And then there's World of Warcraft, a game that's been around for nearly 2 decades with a community that's seen its fair share of ups and downs. You'll find many websites that list these games as having toxic communities, but they often move on without much explanation. The goal of this video today is to go beyond the surface and to really explore and answer this question.
Let's see.
Why is World of Warcraft considered toxic?
Let's see.
What is it about this game that's cultivated such a reputation over its near 20-year legacy?
Let's take a look. Star Wars launch. Let's go.
Releases in the entertainment world are exhilarating. There's a certain magic to them, almost an addictive quality that pulls you in and keeps you engaged. Getting caught up in the frenzy of a new phenomenon, whether it's a movie, TV show, or video game, is an experience like none other. It's as if you're being whisked away to this new world, a new experience that feels fresh and exciting. The story progresses, new features are introduced, and mysteries that have been lingering on for years might finally be resolved. The fan base collectively gets lost in the unfolding narrative, sharing in the excitement and the joy of discovery.
Yeah.
And it's this communal experience is what makes these releases so special. But do you know what's also special? Shaving your balls.
Dude, wait, what did he say?
Balls with Manscaped.
Bro, I shaved my face with it. Well, what is going on?
The global men's lifestyle brand that's revolutionizing the way that we think about men's grooming.
Sure,
I mean, when you've got the confidence of more than 10 million men worldwide, in other words, more than 20 million testicles shaved, you know they're doing something right. These communities may be toxic, but your crotch isn't, with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra featuring the brand new Lawnmower electric trimmer, which takes grooming precision to a whole new level. This bad boy comes with dual skin-safe blade heads, an upgraded trimmer blade for those clean-cut moves, and an interchangeable foil blade that leaves you with a super smooth and bare finish. And with a bigger LED light and waterproof design, you're covered whether you're in the shower or out. The Performance 5.0 Ultra package includes the Weed Whacker 2.0 for easy nose and ear hair trimming. The kit also comes with the Crop Soother aftershave lotion and the Preserver anti-chafing deodorant. They're essentially world buffs for your testicles.
Okay.
And don't forget the free gifts. The Boxers 2.0 and the Shed 2.0 bag for ultimate comfort.
Does he have a cosplay on? Is he cosplaying as his WoW character with the glove in the... Is this his transmog or something?
And organization. Get your performance package 5.0 Ultra today at manscaped.com with my code MSS20 for 20% off.
Hype.
And also free shipping and these 2 free gifts. Your balls will thank you. Anyway.
W. I actually use Manscaped. We got the razor up top and down below. Pretty fire. Check them out.
Few categories of entertainment deliver this feeling more intensely than the MMORPG. Not the ball trimming. I'm talking about the excitement over this new experience. It is a genre where the allure lies in an online world that isn't just yours, but is shared with countless others from across the globe. The world is persistent, it's always alive, with things happening in every corner, even when you're not logged in. It is this virtual reality that continues to exist and evolve even when you're not present. For some, it even becomes a second life, a place where they can escape from the stresses of the real world and immerse themselves in an alternate reality.
Dude, I remember growing up and I was playing WoW and RuneScape, a lot of RuneScape and a lot of WoW, and my dad would always tell me to pause the game so I could eat dinner, or pause the game so I could do my chores. It's not how it works, Dad. There's a persistent online world, just like Mad Season said. People are there in the universe, and we're playing and we're gaming, we're going hard. We're farming noobs. You can't put it on pause. It's not how it works.
Much like other forms of entertainment, the initial period after an MMO's release is dominated by the desire to experience the game rather than to achieve specific goals. This period is defined by what is called free play as opposed to instrumental play. In 1993, a German educational theorist and psychologist, Wolfgang Iser, contributed to the understanding of these types of play within the context of child development and educational theory. He described free play as the most natural and uninhibited form of play. It's spontaneous, unstructured, and self-directed, driven by curiosity and imagination. There are no rules or objectives imposed by others. Only intrinsic motivation guides the activity.
Right, so this is like classic WoW, right? It's completely unstructured. You don't have an incentive to like do anything. You kind of just play the game and do whatever you want. It's one of the reasons I got into WoW back in 2004. I remember playing campaigns for different games that were out at the time, and they made you do the quest line. And I don't know about you guys, but I was like, I don't want to be made to do anything. I want to go into a damn sandbox and do whatever the hell I want to do. I want to go in there and just, if I don't want to level, I'm just going to chill out and you know, vibe. Talk to other players, make some gold, you know, role play, do whatever you want to do. Because it's a video game and it's just completely up to you on what you want to do, right? That's why I picked RuneScape and WoW, because you could just make your own adventure, right?
For instance, a child building a fort out of cushions and blankets isn't doing so with a specific goal in mind. There's no reward waiting at the end. The child is simply exploring.
Bro, I already made forts with my son. Like, he has like this thing that he can climb. It's like a triangle, and I put a blanket over it. Boom, fort, man. Oh, it's a good time. Oh, it's a real good time, man.
Creating and having fun. And lost in the joy of the moment. Instrumental play, on the other hand, is structured and goal-oriented. It often comes with external instructions or objectives with a clear end goal in sight. And while it can still be enjoyable, the focus shifts towards achieving a particular result, such as a classroom activity where children are tasked with solving a puzzle.
So this is a lot more like retail, right? You're going for Keystone Master, you're going for ahead of the curve, you're going for your elite PvP transmog, you're going for gladiator title, right? It's more modern game design is more structured like this, right? Nothing inherently wrong with it. Less imagination, less free play, less unstructured nature, and more like, here, we have a goal, go and do the goal, right? I'm curious. This video is really good. I'm curious where he's going to go with this, though.
Aim is to complete the puzzle correctly, which usually involves following rules and employing logic. So whereas the satisfaction from free play comes from participating in the activity itself, In instrumental play, it most often comes from the sense of accomplishment that follows achieving this specific goal.
Makes a lot of
Free
sense.
play is seen as crucial for holistic development. It fosters creativity, problem solving, and social skills. When left to their own devices, individuals can create these entire worlds and characters and stories, and in the case of World of Warcraft, this type of play is most often seen in the world of role-playing, where players immerse themselves in the lore, and they create their own narratives within the game's universe.
Yeah.
In this sense, they're not just playing the game, they're living in it,
Right,
and
yeah,
creating their own
exactly.
stories and adventures as they go along. Instrumental play, on the other hand, while different, is equally valuable. It helps develop specific skill sets, and it fosters critical thinking. Following rules and working towards a goal and focusing on achieving a particular outcome requires discipline, focus, and perseverance.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Undying hope.
Yeah, nice shit.
These skills are crucial both in real life and in these virtual worlds that we inhabit. And in World of Warcraft, an example of instrumental play would be raiding, where players work together to overcome difficult challenges requiring coordination, strategy, and a deep understanding of the game's mechanics. During the birth of a new movie series or video game or fandom of any sort, exploration and curiosity often overshadow this objective-based play. In other words, free play takes precedence over.
Yeah, dude. Wow, this is a good video. So like when New World came out, there was no, oh, I need to do my daily chest runs. There was no, oh, I need to do this. It was just full on, I'm going to cut this tree down and see what happens. I'm going to go into this city and see what vendors there are. I'm going to go over here and see what quests there are. I'm going to try to find some PvP. Oh, wow, there's a big battle going on. You're just like out there trying to make meaning of things, right? And that fades over time because eventually you get better at the game, and like you're like, okay, I know what this town has, I know what vendors it has, I know the benefits of doing PvP, or maybe they're not worth it, maybe I'll just do PvE. And like, you know what happens when you cut down that tree, so you don't cut down the tree anymore, and then all of a sudden it's more like, I'm gonna log in and do the things that I know I need to do, and that's kind of it. And like, I'm gonna disregard all the free play, I'm just gonna like log in and do my chores, so to speak. We were just talking about that this morning in World of Warcraft. Here I'll actually tab over in my character sheet. It's Monday, so you know tomorrow is the reset, and I was like, should I do more delves to get my last delve activity, or should I do mythic plus 10s to upgrade my mythics track so I get better loot in the dungeons? And everyone's like, well, it's a waste of time to do delves because there are lower item level stuff, so just do mythic 10s. So it's like we're already min-maxing Warathan, right? But I shouldn't say already. WoW's been out 20 years, so of course we are. But that's just kind of how it works, right?
For instrumental play, this is a very natural progression, as the initial thrill lies in the discovery and the novelty of the experience rather than achieving specific outcomes. It's a time when the world feels open and full of possibilities, and where the joy comes from the journey rather than the destination. Although both types of play are essential, free play has an advantage, especially in terms of community dynamics. It's less intense because there are no objectives at stake. Without specific goals, the game lacks a competitive edge, which can lead to a more relaxed and welcoming environment. But as time passes, and this initial exploration phase ends, the free play dynamic wanes and objective-based play and consequently instrumental play start to take over.
Right,
Where
yeah.
there once were no conditions to win, the need to achieve victory at all costs begins to dominate. The
Yeah.
fun is no longer about simply experiencing the dungeon, it's about completing it as quickly
Yeah.
and as efficiently as possible. This shift introduces a level of pressure to perform well and often to impose that same pressure onto teammates. And it's no longer just about enjoying the game, it's about proving your worth both to yourself and to others.
Yep.
Don't go in the
Get out
defile.
of that defile. Get out
Are
of
you
that defile.
kidding me?
Come on!
Wow.
It is at this point that elitism begins to creep in. Those who don't meet certain
Well,
standards.
like here's the thing though, like when you have done just to play devil's advocate, like I understand the point, right? For sure. Let's play devil's advocate for a second. When you've put the time in to get good at something, and you've cleared Heroic Lich King not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 5 times or 6 times. And you go in for that 7th clear, and you know the mechanics, everyone else knows the mechanics, and then someone comes in completely clueless, messes up the Defile, and wipes your whole raid. Of course you're upset. Of course you are. You put the time in to learn it. Someone else is coming in green, and they wipe your whole raid, and you're like, dude, like, come on, man. So, like, that's also human nature. Like, you can't call that guy just completely a moron or like an idiot. It's like, well, yeah, of course they're mad. Of course they're mad, right?
It is at this point that elitism begins to creep in.
Like, and I wouldn't jump to necessarily calling it elitism. They should be mad in that situation. Now, it's how far you take it. You could be like, hey, man, yeah, so with Defile, you don't want to stand in that. You know, if we keep messing this up, we're going to have to replace you. Something like that could be like a nice way of saying it. Be like, come on, you're out of here. Like, you can be an asshole about it, or you can be still upset, but nice, right? So, I mean, that's where the difference comes in. But, like, yeah, being upset about something like that is very normal, I would say.
Those who don't meet certain standards can be excluded or looked down upon, creating an environment that becomes increasingly divisive.
Right.
And what was once a collaborative and inclusive experience has now turned into a competitive and exclusionary one. Players who were once welcomed with open arms may find themselves now ostracized or criticized for not meeting the ever-increasing demands of the game and its player base. While game developers don't directly control player behavior, they do largely guide it. As a game becomes more and more solved and the collective interest of the player base shifts towards goal-oriented instrumental play, developers may start implementing systems and features that cater to this new focus. The quality of a player's gear becomes immediately discernible and boiled down to a number, and metrics like what dungeons or raids they've completed and how efficiently they've done so are now built into the game itself.
Yep.
This creates an environment that allows for the immediate filtering of the good players from the bad and the optimal from the suboptimal. And where you once might have taken a player along a dungeon run because they were funny or enjoyable to be around, you now might replace that same player with a personality of Darkside Phil who does 20% more damage. And though min-max and optimized objective-based gameplay can be fun in its own right, the focus begins to shift towards it in almost every aspect of the game, often at the expense of the community spirit that once defined it, such as the natural course of all multiplayer games, because the problem lies not necessarily with their design as much as it does with our competitive human nature.
Yes! Yes!
Game designers can take...
So like, I see some people going back and forth in the chat, and it pretty much comes down to this. If you are a top-end try-hard group, and you don't want to wipe, and you want to try to speed clear...
I have a +9 Arakara key that I would love to run with you. Can easily time it and get a 10. I have timed 2 10s so far.
Down with it, bro. We're going to get into keys in a bit here. Funny timing on it. We're just talking about keys in this video. I appreciate the sub too, man. Here's what it comes down to. If you're a try-hard group that's trying to speed clear, you're trying to push, you're trying to do whatever, the expectations have to be in line with the group that you're joining. If not, you're going to get flamed. Vice versa is also true. If you're a leader promoting people to join your group, the expectation should be clear. Look, this is not a casual group. We are pushing for a speed clear. You either know what you're doing or you're getting kicked. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. If you're a casual, try to find a casual group. Now, the issue starts to become in late game MMO worlds. There's almost no casual groups. Even the casual groups become elitist, right? Even the casual groups are like, know your stuff or you're kicked. And it's like, okay, I'm a casual. I've never done this. I'm going to mess up. What group do I join then? When there's like no groups available for you, right? And you know, when I say no, I say that pretty lightly. Like, of course, there's going to be some groups here and there, but when like the large majority of groups start going to that try-hard arena, so to speak, it becomes difficult to find somewhere where you fit in, right? Like we see this in Season of Discovery. It's a twist on Classic, which is very, very casual, and people are like, well, I'm only going to take you if you have like 90 plus logs. And it's like, bro, I'm playing Season of Discovery. What are we talking about logs? Right? So it's kind of what like kind of how that happens. Anyway, I think a lot of stress and heartache can be avoided if the goals of the group and the players in the group are aligned, right? All right, this is try hard or this is casual.
Take measures to slow this process, and there have been documented cases of them doing so, such as in Final Fantasy XIV, another MMO, where damage meters are allowed only for personal use and are against the game's terms of service to broadcast them to other players or shame someone for performing suboptimally. Where there are choices, there are those that are right and those that are wrong. If there is a win condition, it is possible to lose, and the foundation of World of Warcraft in particular is built upon these fundamentals: player agency and achievements. Even if it isn't directly, the players are competing against one another in some way. Who has the best gear? Who does the most damage? Who has the highest parse? Who has more mounts? Who has the coolest mount? Who has this cool looking rare armor set? Who has more gold? Who has more achievement points? Max level characters, PvP ranking, and so on and so forth. Your performance in the game is directly compared to others playing it. It is an environment crafted specifically for instrumental play, and for all of its strengths, a wholesome community is transitory, existing only for a brief period of time when it is new and the players are preoccupied with experiencing it rather than experiencing it correctly. Such is the fate of not only World of Warcraft, but of most MMORPGs and, by extension, most multiplayer games. The answer to why the World of Warcraft community has become toxic, at least in part, lies in the passage of time.
Real and true. Real and true, man.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
In all forms of entertainment, not just MMOs.
Is that a real react?
Not even just video games. There's a certain measure of investment that comes from three key resources: money, time, and emotion. These three elements are the foundation of our engagement with the things that we love, and they play a significant role in shaping our experiences and our communities. You pay your hard-earned money to play the game, to watch the movie, to attend a sporting event, and you spend your valuable time interacting with it, investing countless hours into whatever form of entertainment that you're passionate about. And over time, if you enjoy it enough, you might even become emotionally attached to it in some significant way.
Once emotions get involved and like you're, let's call it passionate about something, right? Like you're passionate about pushing rank 1, or you're passionate about like getting Keystone Master for the first time, or passionate about getting that rank 1 M plus title, or whatever it is. Or you're passionate about getting that 100 parse in classic WoW, and like you've hit 97s, 98s, 99s for the past 3-4 weeks, and then it's your week to get 100. You farmed all your world buffs, you farmed all your consumes, your group is dialed, everything's dialed, and your tank doesn't press taunt. You pull aggro and get one shot.
And it's this emotional investment is what most often makes these experiences meaningful and memorable.
Yeah.
But it can also be the source of conflict and tension within communities. Time and money are straightforward. You spend them and they're gone. But emotion is where things get more complicated.
Yeah.
Most of us are guilty of reminiscing fondly about that nostalgic game series from our childhoods, or that unforgettable football game we attended. Or maybe perhaps when we first saw Star Wars on the big screen.
Dude, okay, I remember watching Star Wars, but I feel like I'm a little young. When did Star Wars come out? When was it 98? 1998? 1999? The older one. Not the three originals, the later ones. 97? 2003? Guys, the later 3. Come on. Not the prequels, the later ones. The ones that came, like the ones he's referring to in the video. The later ones. Was it 97? 2016? No, not those. Episode 1 came out in 1999. Okay. So it was 1999, 2002, 2005? Oh, really? Was it that late? I thought it was like 90, 97, 99, and then 2001 or something. Anyway, I remember seeing one of these in theaters, but I don't like remember it because I was so young. I was born in 1993. I probably went to the 1999 release. I was like 6. Like I don't really remember all the hype. So I'm 31 years old. I feel like if you're like 40, you probably really remember this. Or if you're like 38, you probably really remember this. But I feel like I'm a little young. The first one is 1977. I'll just keep watching the video.
These experiences evoke strong emotional responses, and we carry them with us long after the event has passed. They become a part of who we are, and they help shape our identities and relationships with others. MMOs, however, are a unique case. They are a particularly hardcore genre of game in terms of investment. They're expensive, requiring expansions every couple of years. World of Warcraft, for instance, still has a monthly subscription fee just to play, on top of a pretty intense cash shop for cosmetics and progression. Told you so, by the way. It's a financial commitment
of course
that
he does it.
not every gamer is willing or able to make, but for those who do, it's a significant investment. The genre is
Dude, is it though? Like,
able to make, but for those who do,
I feel like WoW is one of the cheapest hobbies you could actually have. Is that wrong? Like, okay, so there's cheaper hobbies. Like going for a walk is a cheaper hobby than playing WoW because you don't. I mean, you still need shoes, I guess, and the shoes need to be replaced, and then you need. Yeah, I mean that. Okay, okay, you need water. Yeah, going for a walk is probably like a cheaper hobby, but like, I feel like this is a little off base because I feel like WoW has got to be one of the cheapest hobbies you could actually have. Right? Like I'm thinking, like, what's an expensive hobby? Golf is an expensive hobby. Getting into cars, that's expensive. Right? Playing chess. Oh, playing chess is probably pretty cheap. Drinking in general, that's got to be expensive. Paintballing, expensive. Yacht racing. Okay, is that even a thing? Yacht racing? Are you kidding me? Snowboarding, right? I don't know. I feel like WoW has got to be one of the cheapest hobbies. You know, really. If you do the math. So this is $3,500, but that's over 20 years. Okay, $4,000. $4,000 over 20 years. I don't know. I feel like it's not that bad.
it's a significant investment. The genre is also incredibly time-consuming. MMOs are built.
Someone in the chat says you pay with your mental health. Dude, okay.
On the foundation that there is no end.
True,
that
I guess.
The content is continuously added in order to keep players engaged and, more importantly, subscribed. World of Warcraft, for example, just released its 10th expansion and will be celebrating its 20th anniversary this November. Some players have been playing it for the entirety of the game's lifespan, dedicating years of their lives and thousands of dollars to exploring Azeroth and all it has to offer. 20 years of memories, trials, tribulations, successes, failures, friends, enemies, and emotional investment. For many, World of Warcraft has become more than just a game. It's a comfort activity, a consistent and everyday part of their lives that provides a sense of stability in a world that is often unpredictable and chaotic. It's something that they can rely on. It's something that's been there through the good times and the bad, and this deep connection only strengthens their investment into the game. Time, money, and emotion. This intense investment creates an equally intense community where some players attach their identity to the game, while on the other hand, perhaps due to its addictive nature, have attached their identity to disliking it. As stated, MMOs are built upon the fundamental principle of change. New features, systems, classes, land masses, and so on are constantly introduced, removed, or otherwise altered for better or for worse. And the result is a community that is often at odds with itself, divided between those who love the game and those who love to hate what it.
Okay, dude, I saw a tweet this weekend from Tips Out. A lot of you guys probably know him. He works with OTK. He's a longtime classic Andy. I was going to show you guys later, but this is just a perfect tweet. Tips said, I mean, I can get to the main tweet, but I really liked this part. He says, I'm still partial to the traditional MMORPG design of classic WoW and old school RuneScape, etc. But if you consider modern WoW a third-person multiplayer ARPG instead of a traditional MMO, it's at the top of the genre, and nothing I've played comes close. That is so well said, man. I've been trying to say that, like, I've said this like 100 different ways over the past couple months. None of the ways I've said it was this good. It's just not an MMO RPG anymore. But if you don't think about it as one and you think about it as a multiplayer ARPG, oh, it is good. It's awesome. It's just not really like an MMO anymore. The way I've said it in the past is it's not WoW anymore. Don't think about it as WoW. Think about it as something new. I think this way of explaining it is better than what I've said. But this was the original tweet. Can't help but tweet this. The War Within is probably the best. It's still funny. People still say tweet. It's been X for like a year. Bro, just put it back to Twitter. What are we doing? Okay. I skipped Dragonflight and only lasted a month or so in Shadowlands and BFA. Negative interactions with systems have been removed. The class design's insane. The sheer amount of things to do bugs my mind. I haven't played Raised Wheel so well. Yeah, so the basic tweet's basically saying he's having fun, but this I think is just really well said. Very, very well said. Can you elaborate on what part? Right? It's not really what you think of when you think of an MMO. You queue up everything. The world, it's less about the world and those relationships and stuff like that. It's a lot more about like just kind of hopping in and playing the game. When you think about it as an ARPG in that sense, where there's a lobby and then the gameplay, it hits, right? He's loving it. So when you shift how you define it and the perspective on it, it hits night. It's like, yes, this is it. But when you compare it to a classic or traditional, he says, MMORPG, it still falls. It's not that anymore, which is fine, right? He's saying it's fine, and it's the best WoW has been in a long time. So it's like incredibly high praise, but it's shifting the mentality behind it. Yeah. I don't know. I loved this tweet. I was like, dude, yes, this is on point. This is just the perfect. Anyway, getting back to the video. Sorry, I was like, he was talking about that, and I thought of the tweet. I'm like, yeah, this is perfect.
Has become. In recent years, there's been a lot of negativity surrounding Blizzard, the developer for World of Warcraft. From laying off a record number of employees after a record-breaking fiscal financial quarter, to releasing unfinished games, facing human.
Someone says, as if the term we use to call it changes anything, though. Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. No, I completely disagree with that. It's like if you're going in to buy a car and you're looking for a truck because you need to pick things up, and there's a bunch of things that aren't trucks. You're like, what your expectations are defines everything. If you're going into a game looking for an MMO and it's not that anymore, then it's not for you, and that's not what you're looking for. But if you're going in with the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna play an ARPG, right, and then it's great, it completely changes everything. Absolutely.
Human rights controversies, poor expansion releases, and even lawsuits, Blizzard has been thrust into a whirlwind of controversy.
Yeah, that's true.
This has led to an abundance of criticism and negativity, with Blizzard becoming something of a punching bag for journalists and documentarians and the gaming community as a whole. And while much of it is deserved, this constant barrage of criticism has also created a bandwagon effect where much of this negativity surrounding the game and the developer is either overdone or done in bad faith. It has long since reached a point where there's now pushback, with longtime fans of the game who have invested so much of themselves into it, fighting back with what they perceive as equally personal toxicity. This defensiveness is understandable, but it also contributes to the toxic environment that has become synonymous with the game. This phenomenon isn't unique to World of Warcraft. It's true of any long-running game or series, but it's particularly pronounced in MMOs due to the intense time and financial commitments required. It's not just a random Call of Duty match. It's an adventure that spans decades for some players. There's so much more to attach yourself to in the MMO genre, which makes the community dynamics even more charged, and therefore the potential for toxicity even higher. And the result is a mix of toxic positivity and toxic negativity. The fanboys versus the haters. Those who treat the game like a girlfriend versus those who treat it like an ex-girlfriend. Meanwhile, a potential new player who is ignorant of all of this looks on in confusion and embarrassment.
Perfect scene there.
World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Dota, Counter-Strike. These are games and franchises that have been around longer than some of you have been alive. They've become staples, comforts, and significant parts of the player base's identity. When you combine this with the shift from free play to instrumental play and the hyper-optimization and metagaming that follows, it creates an environment that many today consider to be toxic and unwelcoming. And while the nature and structure of these games plays a role, what's truly responsible for the decline in the quality of these communities is our competitive human nature and our tendency to invest too much of ourselves into our passions, whether that be movies, sports, TV shows, or video games like World of Warcraft. The problem is the same. It's not just about the games themselves, it's about how we as people interact with them and the communities that form around them.
Damn, okay, so that last part I'd have to think about for a little bit. That gets deep. So he's blaming the human nature with the downfall of the WoW becoming toxic because we care too much, he says, about something. Too much. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to think about that one for a little bit. Do we care too much about things? I mean, I think it's beautiful when someone cares a lot about something and achieves something like great, like World of Warcraft's hardcore Nax run, where Amphi led Frontier through Naxxramas on hardcore for the first time, and there was, what, 100,000 people watching or something, and it was just like, oh, or like 2019 Joker hitting world first, level 60 in Classic WoW relaunch, or Race to World First currently going on, Echo, Liquid, and Method, 3 guilds battling it out. Like, I don't know, man. It's kind of cool. In a sense, I think there are downsides of it too. Yeah. Anyway, I had this on my watch later because I came up on my YouTube this weekend and I wanted to watch it, but I didn't because like I'll watch it on stream with you guys. It was a really good video. Anyway, someone put it in the Reddit too, so thank you to Civil for putting it in the Reddit. So we double got it.